Hi, Shannon here from houseimprovements.com, and I just want to show you in this video how to remove these kitchen cabinets. This is a project that a lot of people want to do on their own, is remove some old ugly cabinets and redo their kitchen. Popular project. So on a lot of shows that you might see on TV, you see the homeowner, they go in there just swinging like crazy with a big sledgehammer, bashing the heck out of everything. And while this does eventually get the cabinets all down, it isn't totally as safe and effective as it could be. What I like to do is cut my cabinetry a little more into more module type sections, and whether you smash it down at that point or not is irrelevant, but once you've at least made it into some smaller pieces, it comes apart that much easier. So that's what we're going to do here today. The upper cabinets on either wall here, we're going to try to actually take down in a way that we can reuse them possibly in the shop or something like that. So be a little more careful with those, but we'll just see how they come out. Some of the tools that we're going to need for today's project, or that you might need, I've got a cordless drill, a hammer, pliers, I've got my trusty flat red bar, utility knife, a couple different wrecking bars, a screwdriver, and a reciprocating saw. And I also do have a sledgehammer if we have to resort to that. I've gone ahead, kind of prepped for the job here, but some of the things that you're going to want to do before you start this project is remove the appliances. So they're all gone. We've taken out the dishwasher, the refrigerator. They're gone. So make sure you disconnect any water supplies for the dishwasher, the power, all that sort of thing. Any electrical that might be hidden in the cabinets, there might be some junction boxes. Just be sure you've got that all looked after before you start. Either the breakers are turned off or you've disconnected that wiring altogether. In this case, we did have a hidden junction box. Well, kind of hidden in this cabinet. It's no longer. We also had a pot light here above the sink, and it's totally disconnected at this point. So right now, the only electrical that is actually powered up right now are the plug-ins on either side of the sink here, so that shouldn't affect us at all. The other thing that I've done is, and you can check this out in my removing a kitchen sink video, we've already taken this sink out. So we've got the water shut off, we've got some of the plumbing disconnected, and removed the sink completely so it's not in our way. So yeah, I think that's about it. Something else you might want tool-wise, you're going to need some kind of step or ladder or whatever in order to get up to the top. In our situation, yeah, my safety guy is saying, don't forget your gloves, don't forget your eye protection. Okay, so we got that out of the way. On these cabinets, they're closed in right to the ceiling up top with a fascia or soffit, whatever you want to call it. It's closed in, so we're going to start at that place right there. We're going to take that all down, and then we're going to work at hopefully getting this cabinet to come out in one piece. So I'm going to move these few tools just quickly out of the way, and go up top here on my step stool and start to remove that valance. See if I can get things started here. Okay, so we've got that loosened up. If you're trying to, in your case, you might be trying to be careful with your sealing. So I don't know if you noticed here, this piece of trim has kind of been, over the years, layers of paint. It's been kind of painted onto the ceiling. So I'm just going to cut along there to hopefully keep it from chipping. We're not actually trying to save this ceiling, but you might be. So by cutting along there, it just releases that paint that is kind of built up there over the years, so that it doesn't do what I just did there. In our case, it doesn't matter, but in yours, like I said, it might. So then I can get rid of these pieces. see I had removed the back side already. This little red bar that I'm using, you'll see me use in darn near every video I do. It's very, very handy for just about anything. Okay, so you can already see just with removing that, this is starting to have a little bit of wobble to it, so that tells me we're getting someplace. The odd time when you'll take this apart, there might actually, sometimes the cabinets will even be hung from the ceiling, just to give this a little bit more support. Ours is actually sitting down on these posts down here. So that's basically taking up the weight, and then it's fastened somehow against the wall at the far end, but you sometimes will see threaded rod or something up top here. Of course, I'm not going to show doing it, but you would remove these strips off the ceiling that all the paneling was nailed to, but that's pretty self-explanatory. I think you can figure that out. If you're trying to save your ceiling when you are removing that, just try not to puncture through the drywall. So I'm going to take this piece off across the front here, and then that should hopefully give us access to get this other guy off the wall here. So we're getting things pretty much opened up there. You can start to see some of the electrical that we had, like I was mentioning about this pot light. You can see what they've left behind here. So you can see they've got used a box here as a junction box, which looks like at one time it was maybe mounted in the ceiling for a different style of light. But the way they've got this set up, other than the fact that there's no cover on it, really should work out to be legal, because this light, you could pull this all down out of the bottom, and which would pull that box down so you can access it. So that would pass code the way it is, other than the cover missing. Like I said before, that's all been de-energized, so it can't hurt anybody. Just looking to see here how things are put together. Okay, I think I just have one more little thing to do. I'm going to use that big hammer that I talked about. Looks like this may be nailed on top of this cabinet, so I'm just going to knock it up a little bit so that it maybe loosens off. There you can see maybe see all the nails sticking up through there. Back in there is where it was nailed. I'm going to knock this piece off as well, so I can pull it down just like that. It probably wouldn't hurt, seeing as that's just kind of sitting there. It probably wouldn't hurt. I'll just cut this in half, or not in half, but cut it off so it doesn't fall on us when we take this wall down. So again, I'm just going to use the recip saw. Cut this shelf off. See if that's enough. There we go. We'll just get that down out of the way. So you can see there, I don't know what it's been, maybe 4 or 5 minutes. We've basically gotten rid of most of the soffit already. And I'm just going to get rid of my material here that's in the way. And then when I come back, we're going to actually remove this cabinet. Okay, so we've got all our scraps that we ripped down already out of the way. Now, this cabinet should, I believe, just be nailed into the wall through the way back inside of there. So I'm hoping that if I can knock these posts out, I should be able to just wiggle the cabinet and it's going to drop down. It's going to be loud and dusty, but with any luck at all, it's just going to drop straight down, and we won't have any issues. Again, like I said, I'm just trying to hopefully save this cabinet. So I'm going to knock these poles out and see what happens. So there's one. Those were actually screwed in. Half the time they're only nailed in. Okay, let's see what happens here. There. So that's one upper cabinet down and reusable, hopefully. Okay, so we've got that one side down. Now we're going to switch around to this side. And again, I'll just continue taking that those upper pieces off. Okay, so we got the upper area all dismantled on this side as well. I'm going to get rid of this, this gable sticking down here. Okay, so we got rid of that. Now I'm going to try to get behind this end. This cabinet will all be nailed to the wall. So I'm going to try to get behind the one end and just start sort of prying it away from the wall. Hopefully I'll get it to a point where it'll just drop right down on that cabinet below in one piece. And I'm not trying to protect the wall here, so if you are, you just basically you want to look inside. You can usually see where the nails are. Actually, there's one right here. So there must be a stud there. So I'm going to try to pry right at that point. It'll do less damage. You could also get your bar in there and put a block of wood here over a stud. And that'll help you as well. Okay, so now that I'm on a stud, when I pry, I'm not going to do quite as much damage to the drywall if you're trying to save it. You can hear things creaking and groaning, paint's letting go. If you were trying to save the wall, like basically reusing the drywall that's on there, you'd want to take your knife and cut around all these areas too. You can see the paint, it was all painted right onto the wall over the years. So like I've stated, we're not really trying to save any of these walls because they're coming down. I'm hoping to save this cabinet, but it may not be a reality, and I don't think it's going to be. So in that case, what I'm going to do is basically make a cut along here and up top. Then I can remove that end. Maybe we'll be able to salvage the double door one there on its own. So I'll just make a quick cut here. There's one. I don't really need this door on there in my way. Make sure there's no hidden wires up top. It's probably loose enough now that I can remove that. Maybe. These were on the backs of all the shelves. That's where it was attached to the wall. A lot of these older cabinets didn't actually have complete backs in the cabinet. They just had these cleats. Okay, let's see if we can maybe get this one down on its own. Sure, the nails are a fair ways back there, so we'll see what happens. starting to come. I don't think we're going to have a lot of luck in salvaging this one either, so I'm going to make a couple cuts back here again, and we'll just tear that sucker out of there. Okay, so we've made it into a little bit smaller chunk. You see how by reducing the size, at least of the pieces, it's a little bit easier to remove. You're not trying to fight that whole thing off and every nail that's in it. You can kind of see the anatomy now of this cabinet, how it had all the shelves, none of which were adjustable in height, which is pretty common on the older cabinets. They were all built in place usually, or built very solidly, and nothing was adjustable. So let's see where we can get now at this end. Okay, so we've got all the upper cabinets out of the way. Now we're going to start on the lowers. And first thing I want to do is, because of the shape of this countertop, instead of trying to rip it all out in one big piece and be awkward to handle, I'm going to make a couple different cuts in it and make it probably into 3 pieces just to make it a little easier. So again, reciprocating saw. I think we're through there. A little bit here. Okay, now hopefully this piece will pry up off there. Oh, maybe not. Some of the cabinet come with this one. You can see this countertop is basically built right in place, and you can see how they laid the plywood on top of the cabinets and nailed right down into the cabinetry. With all those nails, we don't want to have those sitting around sticking up. So make sure I put that out of the way. And I'll make another cut over here on this end, similar to what we just did, although I think I might, maybe I'll go across this direction. Make sure there's no plumbing in the way there. Just like so. Get some of this stuff out of the way here. And hopefully we can pry this up. Just watch when you reach underneath there, you don't grab onto a nail. Another piece out. It looks like part of the counter kind of stayed on there, so we'll just hit that off. Like so. So we just about have all the counter off. One more piece here. this was newer cabinetry, chances are it was built and then brought into the job site. They'd lay it on the cupboards and screw it in from underneath, so you'd just be able to go under there and remove a few screws and lift it off. But these ones were always built in place. So that has all our countertops out of the way. Now we're left with basically with the cabinets, and you can see most of these cabinets were basically built right in place too. They would have might have brought some of the pieces pre-cut and assemble it. Where nowadays most of the cabinetry the boxes are built in a controlled environment in a shop, brought into the house, screw all the boxes together, and your kitchen's done. Where here they would have done a lot more work right on site as far as cutting and fitting. I'm just looking here to see where the best place is to cut. I'd like to kind of get rid of that section, so I'm going to cut down the back and cut down this corner, and then that should allow us to demolish that end. Some of this other cabinet's just falling apart beside us. So I'm going to move it before it falls on me. Just quickly cut the back. Okay. So let's see if we can. Still seems pretty solid, but we'll see what we can do here. And we're just going to continue right around the whole thing, basically doing the same that you just seen us do. When we get around to the plumbing, we'll cut back into that so I can show you how to cut around that plumbing and hopefully not cut a pipe open. Okay, you can see now that we've got around to where the pipes, in this case, they come up through the floor and through the bottom of the cabinet. The drain pipe, the cabinet's been slotted out for it, so that's not such a big issue. And they've just kind of stuck the plug back in here. So I can pry it out again. Maybe. There it comes. So that won't be a huge issue. But now the half-inch copper pipes here, they aren't slotted. They drilled a hole and probably stuck the copper down through the hole and soldered it up downstairs. So now you could shut the water off to the home and just go down below and cut those pipes off. Or if you make a cut in this bottom, then it'll allow you to remove all of this without disturbing the pipes, and then you can deal with that part when you can get at it a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do, this bottom of the cabinet, I'm just going to cut simply right around this. So there'll be a little piece that stays there for right now, but then it allows me to get all the other cabinets right out of the way. So that makes that piece back there separated from the rest of the cabinet, so that when I start pulling this away, I'm not prying against the pipes. So you can see how that piece is going to stay there so we don't disturb anything. And once I had all the pipes right out of the way, or sorry, all the cabinets right out of the way, I would just come back to this section, and there's usually a little bit of space in the hole that they drilled beside the pipe. If you can carefully start there, but not rubbing against the pipe, you can make a slit there. If that thing will stay up, you'll be able to see. Just like that. And then I'm going to just pull the pipe over a little bit so I can do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so now we'll do the same thing on this one. And then I've got that piece out of there. And the rest of everything else will just come out without any difficulties. So I don't think it's necessary to show you completely the rest of what we did. It's just a continuation of what I've already gone around and done. As far as what's left to do is just pulling up this bottom panel that's on the bottom, that's on the base of the cabinet, and then all these pieces that were put down, chased around to lift the cabinets up off the floor. Same idea as what I've been doing, just work your way around systematically sort of, and demolishing it into pieces that you can easily carry out of the house and get rid of. So I think that pretty much concludes what we wanted to show you on removing kitchen cabinets. Like I said a few times earlier in the video, we weren't trying to protect the walls here or anything because they're going to be dismantled anyways. If you are trying to protect them, then you're just going to have to take a little more care. Like I showed that one little trick, you could put a block of wood behind your pry bars, things like that, just to keep from knocking any holes through the drywall. Anywhere along the way, you're probably going to have a couple little patches to fix up anyways, not to mention all the nail holes and screw holes from where the cabinets were before. So anyways, I think that's good. You can check out our website at houseimprovements.com. On the website, you'll find some articles on other home improvement projects. You'll also find the forum there, so you can go on there and check out that, see what's on there, post a question or whatever if you want to. And you can also check out the rest of our videos on our YouTube channel. Thanks a lot for watching.